Welcome!
Welcome!
For another episode of Garage / Lounge Room / just make your own name up. Gamers.
Gamer people.
Yes.
People who game sometimes.
Zorbz.
Ice
Cube of
Cube.
Ice.
Yep.
Cube of Ice.
Boars of Zorbz.
Yeah. Borzorb.
Yep.
I don't know. Whatever.
That's his name.
We are here for another Switch review.
It's on his birth certificate.
The name or the Switch
Zorbz.
review? Yeah, I put the Switch review on my birth certificate. This time it's for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze Switch version, not this version.
Not the Wii U version,
Not that
that
version.
I'm holding right now, but the which version?
Switch version.
Which we didn't bring with us, but we have the old one.
Because I don't have a physical copy, it was a digital code, so...
Yeah, that's how they do it these days. They give us the cruddy old digital things.
I can't complain, it's a lot easier. Yeah. Don't have to worry about postage.
Sucks. No, postage better. Retail.
So, I will start by saying though, holding that one up, there is not too much different about this in the Switch release. They have added Funky Mode, okay?
Funky Monkey?
Pretty much. You get Funky Kong in the new version on the Switch, which you don't have in this game, which essentially makes the game easier. So, this game was known for being really hard. And I played all the Donkey Kong countries, I finished all of them. I finished this, but this was by far the hardest one. Mm-hmm. And for a game that looks like this, kids are going to assume, oh, this is great. And then they're going to just be frustrated. It's too hard for a kid.
Yep, yeah, so, I actually got my kids to play it and they are struggling. So, yeah.
So Funky Mode basically gives him double the health. Well, actually, so Donkey Kong gets 2 health bars, Diddy Kong usually gets 2, or, vice versa if you use Dixie and that. Funky gets 5 health, a double jump, he can't get hurt by spikes, and I think that's about it. But you can still die, so there's still a challenge there, you can die, but it just gives you that extra bit of relief. And for me, I personally enjoyed playing it like that because I love the game, but I didn't want to have to go through the whole slog of it all because some of the boss battles, I swear I tried like 50 times and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So going through again with it slightly easier just made it feel like a better...
leveled up.
Yeah, exactly. So apart from that, none of the noticeable changes. It's gone from 720p to 1080p. So the Wii U version was 720, and when you dock the Switch, it's 1080. It's still 720 on the actual handheld, but it looks fantastic. I've noticed some people say for some reason that theirs didn't look good on handheld. I couldn't see any fault with it. I didn't see any jaggy edges or aliasing at all. Like it looked really smooth.
Were you looking at it on the small screen or the TV?
Like on the small screen.
Yep.
And then when you put it on the TV, it just looks even better. It runs perfectly fine. Loads are faster, which is nice because there was a bit of lengthy loads.
This is all kind of, except for the mode that you're talking about, which is a good idea.
It's pretty standard.
Standard kind of upgrades.
Yeah, there's nothing major. But I will say that in the first 2 weeks of this game coming out, it sold more copies than it did in the entire life cycle on the Wii U.
Yeah, I want that fact checked actually.
That was by Nintendo apparently. Like they're claiming that in those 2 weeks it's already sold more. And the reason
they got nothing to lose with that one, do they? I mean, they've already finished selling the last one, so by discrediting it, it doesn't really matter. But if you credit the new one, that counts as something because it's out now.
But also the reason this review is late is because I got the code basically on review day. And
that's the way they do it now.
I have finished it,
There's no lead time anymore.
I just wanted to go through and just double check, like, if my opinions had changed on it. And with Funky Mode, I actually enjoyed it more. But the game is still the same.
We're presuming that you've played a Donkey Kong. I'm talking to the audience here. That they've played a Donkey Kong before. They understand it's a platformer. You've got the 3 monkeys, you collect bananas and go through barrels. And
I mean, even if you play Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo, it's the same game.
Yeah. Except
you get extra hits, because that was, remember back then, you got hit once, bang, you were dead.
Yeah, unless you had a mini
Unless you had Diddy Kong with you, then you could get hit twice.
Yeah. I'm curious, is there anything more to add about this Funky Mode before we're kind of going a bit helter-skelter anyway here.
No, not really. I just wanted to start with those changes.
It's an easier mode.
It's easier. It's definitely It's not.
Is it because you get more life or something? Or
You get more life. You don't have to worry about the spikes because you can land on a spike and it won't hurt you.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But if you fall in the hole, you'll still die. And there's a lot of holes, and and there's a lot of things that will hit you. So, funky mode is easy for the first few worlds, and then as you start to progress, then it still gives a bit of a challenge. So it's not like we're just going to walk you through a park. Like it's got still a bit of challenge, but you can always choose all the other characters and play it normally. So it's just if you find it too hard.
This is one of those games that I got the really good fond memories of this, and I really want to invest more time into it, but I just never do. I want to.
It's great.
I do.
I did prefer the one
good
on the
old
Wii.
Donkey Kong.
Did you play Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii? It was the prequel to that one.
I can't remember.
I did prefer that one, but we're talking about like a small margin of how much better it was. It's not by much.
Okay.
All right. So story wise, I mean, let's be honest. These games. So
once upon a time,
Donkey Kong,
a monkey was born.
He's celebrating his birthday. He goes to blow out the candle, and all of a sudden, a gust of wind blows it out for him. And
what
he's
happened
like,
next?
What's going on here? Looks outside, and there's these ice snow Viking dudes, and then all of a sudden, they just blow Donkey Kong and all his friends out of existence, and they freeze up the whole island, and you basically have to go back and stop them. So that's the whole story.
This sounds like the story of when a 5-year-old kid holding ice cream and high on sugar just wants to tell you about his weekend.
And then he just drops.
And then he did this, and then the Vikings came, and then they blew the monkey away.
But then the ice cream falls on the floor, and then he's just distraught. Yeah. So
that's called Tropical Freeze.
So we can't really. I mean, these sort of games are not meant to have story. Let's be honest. It's all about the gameplay. So let's get onto the gameplay. So gameplay is very tight. I love gameplay for these platformers that has the tight controls where when you press the button it reacts instantly. When you land it doesn't have that floaty feeling where you'd sort of glide off a bit, or it controls really well. When you make a mistake, you made a mistake. It's not because the game just is poorly designed. Which it's
quite a deep analysis there.
A lot of indie platformers makes me
rub my chin.
Yes. A lot of these indie games that are coming out, these platformers, seem to lack that. They seem to just get a good game, but the controls just don't feel right. Whereas this felt
I know what you mean.
Great.
Sometimes when you're playing these platformers, it's just it responds slightly differently, and it's just to do with the game build and the way the game's structured, and you kind of have to get the angle of the jumps right and stuff like that to fit how you want it to be, and then you almost have to build the levels around that so that it's compatible with the character's ability.
And so, because of there's obviously a lack of story, you would hope that the gameplay is really refined and it's down to a T, and it is. So, in saying that, it's pretty flawless in terms of that. If you're playing it without the funky mode, there is some cheap deaths, I feel like, where there's just characters placed in awkward angles or cheap shots that can be done. But it's one of those things that you used to back in the day have to learn the patterns of enemies and learn when they attack, and so you with practice you figure it all out anyway.
One of the things I like about some of the recent Nintendo releases is that they're paying a very good homage to the glory days of SNES and NES, and this is one of them. This is like, what, we could try to do this big 3D world, or we could just go kind of do like a 2D parallax.
It's a 2D side scroller, but fully 3D.
And I love that about this game. I also loved it about the 3DS Zelda: A Link to the Past. No, not A Link to the what's the one where he can go against the wall and stuff like that? And it's like
a Link Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds. Yeah, that's the one. Loved it. And I love that. I love that homage to their retro style, but they still were able to modernize it and bring it up to speed so people can feel like it's not too old a game. So I like that Nintendo does that, and they do it very polished and well. And I'm sure that if they're taking this game, which already was very polished, at its Wii U edition, that they're going to make it even more polished for the Switch version.
And there's plenty of variety in the levels and the locations, and like
it's a wild adventure, isn't it?
There's little mechanics where, for example, Dixie Kong, she's always had her little glide attack where not attack, her essential double jump where she glides. Diddy Kong naturally jumps higher and a bit further. Donkey Kong, no one ever wants to play as him because he's just so generic. Cranky Kong does this sort of pogo bounce that he can bounce on spikes.
He's the old monkey.
So they've got their own little perks, and some people have certain favourites.
Donkey Kong can do the stompy stomp thing, right?
I think they all do that now.
Do they? I thought it was only the big one.
No, I'm pretty sure they all
okay.
do that. I never use. I basically use Donkey Kong, and then you put Dixie Kong on his back, and then he can glide as well.
Yep.
So you can actually just find a combination that works with you. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, gameplay. If you played Donkey Kong Country, if you played, the one on the Wii, if you played this Wii, you know what to expect. So let's go into the graphics now.
Gameplay: jump, run.
Yeah,
do it.
Pretty much. So graphic-wise, it looks amazing.
We kind of touched on graphics, but yeah, keep going.
But even on the Wii U, I thought that was like a really polished-looking game. It's very bright, very colourful.
You like your bright, colourful Nintendo games,
I
don't
do,
you?
I do.
Yeah.
And the fur textures on him... yeah, well... because imagine playing that and everything was just sepia tone. Like, it would be so boring.
Oh, kind of cool.
No, maybe
they should do it as a mode.
Maybe
sepia
one
mode.
Level or something. But
funky sepia.
But they have those cool levels, I don't know if you've seen it, where everything is like a silhouette. Everything's black. And then you just have the color of the level, and you're just an outline, basically, like a solid black image of the character. Okay. And the way it blends in with the environment, it actually looks really cool.
Is this a level?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you could find some footage of that.
Yeah, they've got some cool little visual touches for some of these levels, so I'll put those in there.
Okay, but basically same as before.
Yeah,
levels wise.
Yeah.
Any new levels or anything?
No, everything's exactly the
right.
same. That's why it's a bit hard to try and talk about something new because there's nothing.
Yeah, we probably should have ended this when you mentioned 1080p. That's just okay. That's it.
But for those who haven't played it, I mean, playing it on the Wii U was one thing to say, oh, this looks great, but to be able to play it on a handheld, and if someone was looking over your shoulder, they'd be like, damn, that looks awesome. Because it really does. Yeah,
and we're having this discussion before about like how you see the Switch. So I'm a bit of a Wii U defender. I won't go too much into this topic, but basically you were saying that you were comparing the Switch as like more of an evolution to the 3DS, like as a portable, your next portable. But I was saying, well, no, I thought it's meant to be the next evolution for the console. But I guess it's really, you've got the 3DS, you've got the Wii U, and then you got Switch. And it's the two.
Because the Wii U to the Switch jump in visuals was slight at best. Not really much.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You went from 720 to maybe a 1080 sometimes, like sometimes not.
Yeah.
But as a portable, if you go from the 3DS to the Wii to the Switch, it just incredible leap.
Anyway.
So yeah, the levels are quite long as well. That's a nice little touch. It's not just short and sweet. It does last a fair while to get through this game, especially if you're playing it in the standard mode. Funky Kong mode is that
another mode? Funky.
There's lots of collectibles too. You collect puzzle pieces. You can collect, the typical KONG to get an extra life. There's little hidden paths that can unlock other levels. That's all you
get, like one extra life for collecting those KONGs. Yeah. You waste 10 lives just trying to get them all.
That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it.
Jeez, I thought I was getting something extra special, not just a life. Jeez.
No, and then you can get coins to buy little like health upgrades and stuff, and it's got little things to keep it going.
Yeah. Okay.
What about sound design? I mean,
well, the music.
The music has always been amazing.
Like funky tribal beats and stuff like that.
Donkey Kong's always had awesome music. Every single release of them. I can't think of one that had terrible music. It's impossible.
Different kind of music to the Detroit one we were reviewing
Yeah,
tonight. ago.
very.
But both very good in their
But
own
very,
element.
very fitting of the type of
Maybe
game.
they
it
should
is.
swap music. Just chuck the Detroit music
That'd be
in
so
Donkey Kong
weird.
and put Donkey Kong in Detroit.
So weird.
One of these days.
Now, there's no voice acting. There's just the grunts and groans of Donkey Kong and Co.
That's alright. That's alright.
You don't need any voice acting.
No.
It's these games are, as you said, an homage to these times of old,
Yep.
where games were just about gameplay, and there
And
was no
a
voice
bit of fun,
acting.
yeah.
It's just
Simple fun.
yeah. So awesomeness.
Multiplayer?
No, multiplayer. I mean, is co-op, so you can do couch co-op.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
But how's it work though? Did you go out? Can you go out in the same play area together?
Yeah, separately. So originally in Donkey Kong Country, you'd play 2-player. It would be me controlling Donkey Kong, and then when I got hit, then you would take over.
I think you could probably do
In
the 2-player
this-
thing in this one.
But
I
in
think
this,
you can. Let's have a look. Compatible offline 1 to 2 players. I think you had to use the gamepad and then get the old Wii U.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wii remote
Yeah.
and just wander away.
Yeah. So basically, in this, you're both on the screen at the one time, and you can go wherever you want. And obviously, it's like the Mario games where if someone goes too far off the screen, it'll sort of bring the
And
other
there's
one
so
to
many
them.
pitfalls and death traps and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so hard to stay. It's harder to do 2 players
So
one.
I hate playing co-op with someone who's got no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you have to drop down to their level, otherwise they're just going to keep dying.
Yeah.
And you share lives. So say you get 10 lives, if they keep dying, those lives keep going down, so
Yeah.
they affect you. So I prefer just playing single player.
Yeah, if you're going to take it seriously, I imagine you play single player if you want a bit of fun. And you'll have a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
What about the awesomeness section? I mean,
These are review categories for Gamebug, by the way. This is
Yeah.
kind of what we're rambling about with
For
awesomeness.
for this one, it is, I guess, hard because, I'm just comparing it to games that I used to play in the past, and that feeling of just nostalgia and wanting that type of game.
But that's okay. I think it warrants, a high awesomeness score because, I mean,
There's not a lot of those games anymore,
No,
and I love
there's
them.
not, and you've got every reason to probably look at that game and go, you know what? I mean, it ticks a lot of boxes, but it's just fun. It does right things, and collectively together, it equals one fun game.
And I will say there is a lot of 2D side scrollers, but not to the quality that this is, not to the polish and the overall look of it, and also the tight gameplay and. But everything is just really well done.
Valid points, but one thing just worth noting with the awesomeness section is that it doesn't necessarily have to have this extra polish. If you walk away from it and you think, damn, that was a good game, then you can give it a good score. But if you walk away just going, same old crap.
No, I look at this game and go, this is an amazing game, that it makes everything else they need to bring themselves up to this level.
Yeah.
Because this is the pinnacle there. So they need to up their game.
High praise from Zorbz.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country it's always been an awesome series.
Yep.
There was a bit of a lull when they had like Jungle Beat and all those weird games where you
What
had to use the
systems
bongos.
were they on and stuff?
GameCube, I believe, that you did the
yeah.
Jungle Beat one.
Yeah.
So those were a bit weird, but they're back.
Good old
so.
SNES ones, and then this was we just call this one the comeback, maybe, I don't know. And then,
Yeah, the only thing I will say is it is a bit of a shame that it's just like a direct port. There's no extra levels. I would have liked a couple of extra levels.
That's not Wii U. We're not reviewing the Wii U one.
Yes, it's the Switch version. You're trying to make the case a bit smaller.
That's right.
But yeah, highly recommend. Great game. It's a fun game to play two players.
I guess the question is, we can probably safely presume that most people might have probably played that one, or because it's an old game we're talking about here, right? So, is it worth someone who's played it, finished it, or done their dash with it to then go, you know what, let's play this again?
Now, the only reason... Okay, so say, for example, the Wii U came out, you bought the game on there, and then the Switch came out, and the Switch was just a console, I would say no. But because it's a portable that you can take anywhere with you, that sort of a game really lends well to being in a portable mode, because you can jump in on the train, play a level, you're done. You turn it off. It's a lot harder to do that. Imagine you were trying to play Detroit on a train, and halfway through a mission, you got to stop. Like those sort of games lend really well to being portable, and the fact that you can play 2-player, one with one little Joy-Con and the other with that, so you've got 2 players instantly. So someone could be watching you on the train and be like, "Damn, that looks good," and you could be like, "Hey, you want to play too?" Like those cool little things that you can do with the Switch just really add to it.
Okay.
So if you really enjoyed it, and you don't have the Wii U set up anymore, yeah, I'd definitely recommend getting it.
It's a good. I think that's a very valid point. I think it would make a really good portable game, even if you had finished it and played it before. Yeah. Why not? If you're gonna catch a train every morning to school or work, it's one that I would probably happily take on there and just finally get it off my shelf. I have this game. I haven't finished the damn thing yet because I just haven't put the time in.
And that's what makes this better being portable is. Sometimes it's hard to just be in front of your TV all the time. Like you might be out, and if you've got that with you,
if I'm in front of the TV, I'm going to be playing something a bit more engrossing. To be honest, I mean, look, it's great, it's fantastic, and if I've got people around, I might stick this sort of game on. But if I'm by myself, I'm playing something a bit deeper. So the fact, like you're saying, it's portable is that's a leg up for me because those are the types of games that I want to play. Like on my mobile phone, like I don't get the coolest, most modern looking game on my phone because I just can't be bothered stuffing around with like the fancy controls. I just want to open it and just play like something like Two Dots, or Solitaire or something simple because that's all I need. And so what I'm getting at is the simpler games when you're out and about.
They work well.
Are better. Yeah.
So definitely recommend that.
Okay. So we doing stars or bugs scores? Are you going?
All right. I usually put it down in the so I usually make them actually look at the score on the actual article, but.
If they've watched the video this far without pressing stop,
all right,
they should get a reward.
So, but how do I rate concept when there's no real story? That's the problem.
Well, it doesn't need a story. Concept is the overall concept. It doesn't have to constitute story, but it may.
It's different enough. Let's just go 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the best, but it's hard. It's hard.
It's not easy to come up with an idea about like these, a big monkey, a baby boy monkey, a kid monkey. They can jump. They've got special powers. As a grandpa monkey, they collect bananas. Who comes up with that? That's quite an ingenious concept right there.
Graphics. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. It looks absolutely amazing.
Do you notice like it's a bit hard unless you're putting them side by side? But you think if you put these side by side, would you notice a big difference, or maybe just a little to no difference? Like what do you reckon you'd see?
Maybe if you put it on a 4K screen, because the difference from 720 on a 4K might look a bit too jaggedy.
Would 4K make a difference? It's really advanced technology.
Yeah, because you're stretching out a 720p image onto a 4K display versus stretching out a 1080p image. So you're going to get less jaggy edges and stuff like that. It'll look slightly better.
All right.
But yeah, art design, level variety and stuff like that, that's where the visuals shine. If every level looked the same, I'd give it a lower score. But it's crisp, polished, runs smoothly. It's great.
Colourful. How can you forget colourful?
It's amazing colourful. It's just colours everywhere.
You should see him play the colourful games. It's like a child.
I just love them. Something like Resistance 3 where it was all brown.
I know. But when Mario Kart comes on, there's like little twinkles coming on.
Mario Odyssey, every game that Nintendo does is just like Sonic everything. So what are we up to? Gameplay.
It's hard to rate this.
It is. Yeah. It is because
what are you comparing it to? It's a tricky one.
I would give this a 4 because I found Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii had better levels. That's what I'm sort of comparing it to. And I'm also saying that the difficulty, if you don't play with Funky, is a bit too hard. And I feel that is because the levels aren't designed as well as the previous one.
Okay.
So I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
All right, good point.
Sound, 5 out of 5. I love the music. Like all the music in these games, just so catchy. Love them.
I also loved everything Donkey Kong said during this game as well.
Like he does these weird noises. And as for, what are we up to? Awesome. Multiplayer. Multiplayer is a great game, but do we review it? Because it's not online. It's just co-op. Like, I guess that kind of just falls under just every other category.
Whatever.
It's good for multiplayer.
It's
I'm
good.
not going to score
It's
that.
good for couch co-op. There you go. But I think you've already gone over the difficulties with it.
Yeah.
The difficulty is fun, but it's not because you're making up for the person that's incompetent the whole time. There's always one person that's better than another, and that person's going to let them down.
The reason I'm a bit hesitant with these scores is because normally I like to really think about it, but he's put me on the spot.
That's right.
I was going to do it when I put it up online.
You're still going to do it
because I'm going to go home now, and then I'm going to be like looking at this video going, damn, I shouldn't have said that. Damn, I shouldn't have said that.
Go to the page on Gamebug.com. Check the score and see if it matches what he's saying right now.
I'm going to probably be different.
There's going to be buyer's remorse after this video.
And so awesomeness, I will give it a 4 out of 5 as well. Because, again, it's not as good as the last entry, but it's really good.
As in the Wii one?
The Wii one, yeah.
So you think the Wii one's overall better than this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Okay.
I think the level design and just the variety in the levels was stronger than this release.
I gotta remember. I can't remember the Wii one well enough.
It was on the 3DS as well, and it was a really good port on there too.
Yes.
So overall,
the 3DS one was good. So if that's the same as the Wii one,
yeah.
I like them both. They're both very good.
Yeah.
They're very similar, but in a good way.
So yeah,
Okay.
great game. Highly recommend it for everyone.
Is it an overall score?
Oh, now I don't know how the average works in my brain.
I'm going to judge you.
No, you're going to look at the bloody thing because it works it out for us.
See, this is all a big plan.
I'm no mathematician.
No. It's all a plan to tease them to get them to the page to check the final score. You see, it's all
to see the final score.
All a big ruse.
You're going to have to look on the actual review that you.
All
you have to do is whether you click the video, just scroll down a bit.Ang, there's the review.
That's
score.
if they're watching it on the page, though. They might be watching this on YouTube.
You might be watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I would say to go to www.gamebug.com.au to check out that final score.
It's worth it, I'm
sure. Check out our other reviews.
It's worth your clicking.
We'll have, what do we have? Detroit Become Human review.
Detroit, we're going to try to get up as soon as we can, right past the embargo.
We've got one of our worst
He's uploading games. It, so if it's not up on time, blame him.
We've got some more coming up.
Yes,
I don't think we can talk.
It's a great month for games. May, fantastic month for games. Pumped. The State of Decay 2. I know it's out already.
Mario Tennis Aces is coming out. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Dark Souls remastered. Oh, hook it to my veins.
Oh god, it's already in your veins.
I know. I just want more. Give it to me again.
And we've got E3 next month, so we're gonna have to do one of these E3 predictions because we're coming up in a couple of weeks.
I want to go hardcore on E3, so we're gonna do a lot of coverage on that. So stay tuned. We're gonna try to give live feedback on that one if I possibly can.
Ooh.
If I'm not working at the time, which I think I am, so I might have to take a sickie. We'll see what happens.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, click, subscribe, follow, do everything on all the platforms.
Why not?
And on Facebook.
Why not?
Bye.
See you later.